Hey guys, it's Fumber here, and I'm here to bring you guys an updated runes, masteries, and build guide for Riven for the pre-season 6. Starting off with the changes to masteries, let's dive into that first. There's 3 mastery pages I'd like to showcase, along with a few rune pages and optimal build paths. The first mastery page is what I'd like to call more of a bruiser page, where I run 18-0-12, and I take points in sorcery, double-edged sword, vampirism, bounty hunter, battering blows, and fervor of battle. And then in the resolve tree, I take points in recovery, tough skin, runic armor, and insight. A few things I'd like to mention about this mastery page is taking sorcery over fury. Sorcery is more of a scaling ability that does more damage as you get more damage. For example, at 400 AD, while your ultimate is active, doing your full combo will result in an extra 50 or so damage which applies after armor, which I think is better than 4% attack speed because it's just a flat bonus and Riven doesn't synergize that well with attack speed. Bounty Hunter, standard face roll, kill stuff, do more damage, perfect for Riven. And Fervor of Battle, which is actually an amazing keystone for Riven. At level 18, Fervor of Battle grants plus 80 physical damage on each auto attack you do to an enemy champion, which applies after armor, of course. Which is amazing for a frontline Riven that's going to be auto-attacking a bunch between her combos. I've also gone for the Resolve tree, because it offers a lot more stats that Riven's interested in, like a plus 8% buff to a Ease shield, and reducing a summoner spell cooldowns by 15%. Yes please, that sounds pretty handy. This mastery page is specialized for maxing Q, E, W, and opting for more of a bruiserish build, but I'll get into that later. The second mastery page is more of an assassin page, running 12, 18, 0. In the Ferocity tree, I take the same 12 points as I would in my previous page, for all the same reasons. I run Thunderlord's Decree as my keystone on this page, as well as taking the mastery that increases your cooldown reduction cap, because cooldown reduction is Riven's best friend, alongside attack damage. This page is for taking Riven into more of an assassin role and absolutely blowing up squishy targets with the added burst from Thunderlords. So as an assassin, you would want to max Q, W, and then E, and build lots of raw damage. The third mastery page is a utility page, where I run 0, 18, 12, taking points in Thunderlord's Decree, Intelligence, which is the cooldown reduction cap mastery, Dangerous Game, along with like Runic Armor and Insight from the Resolve tree. This page is meant for a kind of utility, fun way to play Riven where your shields are massive and on a 0-second cooldown. Not literally. But where you also have the burst potential from Thunderlords, and the reduced cooldowns on summoner spells from Insight. Perfect for flashing onto that fed vein and blowing her up in seconds. This page is kind of a more fun and interesting way to play Riven, although I deem it less useful than the other pages. The optimal max order for this page would have to be maxing E first, then W, and Q last. So moving on from masteries, there's 5 rune pages I'd like to showcase, 3 verse AD and 2 verse AP. So this is the first rune page, which is a pretty standard Riven rune page, which you just have attack damage quints, attack damage reds with 1 crit chance red, 9 armor seals, and 10 flat CDR. Now you need the 10 CDR, either in flat or scaling. I just prefer flat because it gives you a lot more pressure early game, and it just helps you in the lane quite a bit. But the crit chance rune. Crit chance rune is so good on Riven. Just the one, because you do not build a single crit item now that they've updated Yomu's. So this crit rune could go off any time in the game at any point, and it could be level 1 where you just randomly crit them and then you go for an all-in and get first blood, or it could be when you're full build ulted 580 and you flash onto their 80 carry and crit them like a 1.2k or something stupid because of your passive, and then they're dead. But you're giving up not even 180 for it, and it's just extremely valuable. I can't say how much this thing's helped me in my games. But this page is just like a flat early game page that you take if you pretty much don't care and you just want to go into the matchup and fight them. The next rune page is my second AD page, which just has like a lot more scaling runes. Same AD reds, marks, 1% crit, but then it's got some scaling armor and scaling HP, and a bit of scaling CDR, you've noticed, and instead of taking the flat CDR, I've got an armor seal, so I'm not completely weak in the early. This is better if you just want to farm in the matchup and survive, pretty much, so you outscale them eventually. You probably want to take this versus like Renekton or Na or like Darius. Anyone that you don't want to be fighting before 6. The next rune page is just like the same as the first rune page, but instead of the reds, it's got armor pen and some health seals instead of armor, like a bit of split, because most of the scenarios where you'd want to take this rune page, all of the champions that you're versing have like split AD and AP damage where you still want the armor, but HP is effective as well, like Malphite and stuff. Any of the tanks basically. So yeah, just the 10 flat CDR, some mixed health and armor, AD, and armor pen. And then the AP pages, or verse AP, 10 flat CDR, 12 physical damage, 1 crit, and scaling health, pretty standard. You'd want to take this into most AP matchups that you just kind of want to go into, do your thing. Not really too scared, but if you are fearful, if it's a hard matchup, if you think you're gonna struggle a bit, I'd go for this page, which is just like completely standard. 14 AD, magic resist, HP per level, crit chance. Very standard rune page. Standard yet effective. So moving on from runes and masteries, I've mapped out a custom item set to show some of the starting items and first buys and whatever for Riven. So for starting items, you either want to get Doran's One Pot or Longsword Refillable Potion. Refillable Potion is such a good item. For 150 gold, that's the price of 3 health potions. You get a flask that has 2 charges, and you can sell it later on for 60 gold, so it costs 90 gold. That's like not even 2 health potions. And this thing has pretty much like infinite charges if you wanted to. So it's super duper cost efficient. So in terms of actually Doran's Blade versus Longsword, if you're going to be fighting them a lot in lane, you'll want to get a Doran's Blade because it's way stronger of an item. Like, look at the stats compared to this. Holy crap. But if you're versing someone that's going to be building a lot of armor, like a Shen or a Malphite, you'll probably want to start Longsword because that means you can get to your core faster. And your core, you want to get a warhammer on your first buy always. And all of your builds, you'll get a warhammer longsword as your first items, 100% of the time. The reason for that is because all of the starting items for Riven build out of warhammer. So warhammer is like the bread and butter of Riven's builds. So laning versus a tank, like I was saying before, Shen or Malphite, you'll want to opt the warhammer into probably a Ghost Blade first up, or maybe a Cleaver first up if you fall behind, but you want to get both these items as your first items in a lane where people are just going to be stacking armor, because Cleaver gives amazing armor shred, and Yomu's gives flat armor pen, and, you know, the active. Great. But the reason you get these 2 items as your core is because all of Riven's core items will want to give a 30% CDR. So 30% CDR from your items, 10% from your runes, gives you your core of 40% CDR, which is what you want to be achieving as Riven. So yeah, first tanks, Cleaver Yomus. You can opt out of getting boots if you want to. I understand why people do it. Sometimes I do, get a cheeky bloodthirster in there. But yeah, laning versus duelists, you'll either want to get a Ghost Bleed or Death Stance as your first item, and the one that you didn't get as your second. And then Ionian Boots as your boots whenever you want to buy boots. But let me just... Death Stance. amazing item on Riven, dude. Holy crap. Like, when I saw this item on the PBE, I was like, this can't be real. So, it has 12% lifesteal when on your auto attacks, and your spells heal you. Granted, it is 33% as effective, so it's only like 4% lifesteal, but still, 4% lifesteal on your spells, plus the passive, 12% of damage taken is dealt as a bleed effect over 3 seconds. It's so good for dueling. Like, it is the epitome of dueling. So, again, the core of 30% CDR, you get Yomu's, Death Stance, and Ionian Boots, and in that, you get 30% CDR and some really good fighting stats. And sustain. So you'll want to do that versus like Fiora and other fighters top lane. Maybe Darius if he's not building tank. And laning versus AP, you'll want to get your Warhammer, a Kindle Gem, and Ionian Boots for your 30% core. And then eventually build your Warhammer into a Death Stance because it's just such a great item on Riven. And that gives you your core. Later on, finish a Kindle Gem into a Spirit Visage. So now I'm going to showcase a couple full builds. So the first one would be stemming from this start, like the Bruiser start. So this build has like Yomu's, Cleaver, and Lord Dominic's Regards, so you're going to be absolutely shredding their front line. Like percentage armor, percentage bonus armor, and flat armor pen. Like, see ya, dude. Then Hydra, just because it's such a great item on Riven, it synergizes well, you can cancel the animations. And Mercurial Scimitar, again, just because it's such an amazing item. Like Magic Resist, 75 AD. Like, damn, dude. Gives the same ED as a Hydra, 10% lifesteal, and QSS. Holy crapperino, that's a great item. But yeah, this is like a frontline Bruiser Riven, where you want to be killing the tanks. And this next one's kind of like I was talking before, like, this would be the like kind of a bruiser QEW, and then this one would be more of a assassin that I was talking about before, where you're pretty much just building raw damage and Ionian boots. So you get 15% CDR on your summoner spells from your masteries, then 10% from Ionian boots, 15% from distortion. That's 40% CDR on your flash. That puts it to like a 3-minute cooldown. Amazing for killing squishies. But this build stems out of the duelist build, which is just like flat raw damage. Amazing. And this is like, it stems off the AP build, where you're just building some magic resist. So you have your Merc Skim, magic resist, you build your Kindle Gem into a Spirit Visage, you get a more, why not? But you also have your Death Stance, Ravenous Hydra. Like, you have a bunch of lifesteal from these items, which will make you like really hard to kill, and then you're so tanky as well. Like 50 magic resist, 70 magic resist, 35 magic resist. So you have like 200 magic resist. You're just gonna be sitting there like life stealing off them. They're not even gonna phase you. And then if you get charmed or something, Merc Skim, dude. See ya. And this is kind of a, I wouldn't say suboptimal, but you don't see it that much. So this would, instead of getting a Yomu's, you'd go Cleaver Death Stance. And the only reason that you get Death Stance is because of the passive. 12% of damage taken is dealt as a bleed. So you're going pretty tanky with this build. Like, you get HP from Cleaver as well as damage and CDR. Damage, CDR, damage, magic resist. This makes you so hard to kill, and so does this. So you're gonna just be an annoyance with this build. Like, no one's gonna be able to kill you, and you're just gonna be like jumping everywhere as you do. But yeah, guys, that's about it for the video. I just wanted to showcase some of the things I found about the Season 6 as a Riven enthusiast and thought I'd share. So if you enjoy the video, make sure to like it, subscribe, whatever. And I'll see you guys in my next video.